All right, folks, we are going to walk through some of the initial steps of citing your sources. So we'll talk through citing your short story, citing your biography, and then citing your critical articles. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is talk about how you log into NoodleTools, and that's where you want to start for that. Right, so for this, we're going to go right to NoodleTools. It's pretty easy. The web address is linked at the top. If you've already used NoodleTools this school year, you should be able to log right in. If you haven't yet used it this school year, you're going to need to reactivate your account. And so that's just going to be the school code is headers, the password is welcome, all lowercase letters. And all of this login information is also available on my Canvas page where it says critical articles and other sources. Very bottom of that page if you're looking for these passwords. Okay, so then once we're in NoodleTools, there's going to be a lot of screenshots here. So just kind of know that you can always pause and go back in this video. The first thing that we want to click on is New Project. So you'll see that that's the little green button there. And when you name it, you want to name it your last name and then the name of the author. So, example for me, I would be Hannings and then dash Steinbeck if my story is The Chrysanthemums, or if your last name was Smith, dash Hemingway if your last name was Smith and you were doing Hills Like White Elephants. One last thing to be aware of is that when you're selecting your project, you want to click MLA and you want to click the last option here, advanced. If you don't click advanced, if you check junior or starter, it won't come up with the right forms. So that's really important, that MLA advanced. And then sharing our project. So this is just going to help you let me see your work cited. If there's any issues you have with citations, I'll be able to look at it from here. So once we're under the dashboard tab, if you go to sharing and collaboration, which you should see at the top left of that picture there, you can share your project with me. And then under project inbox, you're going to type short story RP fall 2020. And it will probably autofill. You can type your name in there. Mine just autofilled, same as Hennings. And then you want to make sure you click that button there, done. All right, so begin our works cited. Now that we've logged into NoodleTools, we've created this project, we're going to click on the tab in the center of the screen, which I have the blue arrow going to that says sources. The first thing we're going to then click is the green button that says new source. Every time you cite a new thing, you click new source. So first we'll talk about citing our short story. Short story is probably the most challenging, so I figured we'd start there and then work to some of the easier ones. The biography and the critical articles are much more simple. All right, so we're going to cite this as a print or in hand and then an anthology collection. So the print or in hand, you just want to toggle over to that middle thing. And then the first in the gray area, anthology collection. Also, make sure you don't cite it as a book. A short story and a book have different fields that would be filled in for them. So a book will not give you the appropriate field. Right, and then you're going to have to type in some information here for your story. So in the bottom right corner, I included the screenshot of what you want to fill in. And then kind of along the left there, I listed the things that you're going to need to type in yourself. So contributors to the specific work, the options there are either author or translator. You're going to just select author and then put your author's first, middle, and last name. Some of them, like John Steinbeck, Ernest Hemingway, don't have middle names, so you're going to leave the middle name field blank. And then title of specific work, that is the title of the short story, for example, For Summers or The Chrysanthemums. And then for the year of publication, you're going to find that on your PDF, your story PDF, it's probably on the second or third page, right next to where it says who the publisher is. One last thing to remember about the article title here for the story is it does not need to go in quotation marks. it will punctuate that for you. Okay, so then this is where you're going to need to look onto the second and third page of your story PDF. So this is looking for author, story title, and year. This I kind of already mentioned, making sure we select author. If you don't have a middle name, skip that field. And we're not punctuating the story title. For the year of publication, we're going to kind of look through those first few pages. Here I see it's 2006. I'm also going to see two other things, which are the publisher as well as the book from which it came. So Harper Perennial, the arrow that's kind of pointing to the left, is the publisher. High Lonesome is the story collection, the anthology from which the story came. So I'm going to use all that information on the next slide. Okay, so page numbers and book title. So we've already established the book title was High Lonesome, which we'll see at the bottom here. This is underneath where it says Anthology Collection, and it asks you to fill in the page numbers. So it's not the PDF page numbers, right? It's not 1 through 12, but it's actually the numbers printed on those pages there. So in the case of this story, Four Summers, 284 to 303. And then it has contributors to the anthology as a whole. Four Summers didn't have any contributors. However, some of you, like White Elephants, might have an editor. So in that case, you would put in Peter S. Prescott and just under that drop down there, select editor. Title of anthology, as I mentioned before, is the name of the story collection. So High Lonesome or the Norton Book of American Short Stories. You want to check on the first few pages of your PDF. If you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out to others who have the same short story. And then publisher and city, we found those on that those PDF pages. HarperCollins, New York City. Again, the publication year is 2006. There are a few things we're going to leave blank here, so don't worry about them. Volume, volume number, and edition. So unless that's specified somewhere on the first page, don't worry about it. You really just need to focus on author's name, name of the story, name of the longer book it comes from, publication year, publication city, and pages. So it's really just those 5 or 6 things. And then you're going to click Save, which is at the top right corner. It is a blue button. And then your citation should appear like this. So it should have the author's first name and then their author's name first, rather. It goes last name and then first. And then the story title, publication year, the book it came from, publication city, publisher, date, and then page numbers is last. All right, so moving on to citing our biography. This is where it gets super easy, and this is probably the most simple one. So biography is really fast. All right, cite our biography. You're going to copy and paste this under the quick cite. But first, to get there, we're going to click database. So before we clicked print or in hand for the story, this one's different. We're going to database because we used a library database. And then we're going to scroll down again, the gray thing, and we're going to click on reference source. All right, next we're going to use the quick cite. This makes it super easy, super great. So at the top, quick cite, copy and paste the citation. You will click on that. And then we're going to use Control C to copy and Control V to paste. But where are these going to come from? So I've copied and pasted them all into Canvas for you. So I'm going to walk you through that. So using the source citation, these are all kind of in your, sorry, my cat is attacking the chair behind me. Leia. Sorry, guys. These are all at the very bottoms of your PDFs. So you're going to need to scroll down to the last page of your biography and then copy and paste where it says source citation. So I use the one for Steinbeck. With Chrysanthemums is your story. That is what it would look like. You do not need the Gale document number that's behind that, the last thing in there. So just the source citation. paste your bio citation. So again, we're using that Control C to copy and then Control V to paste. All right, so that's going to go in that manually edited citation field. You don't have to fill out publication date or URL. And then check your bio citation. Again, you're going to click that top right button that says Save, the blue button, and then it'll pop up like this, Reference. Again, article title goes first, database name, the name of the collection, the year of publication, and then the web address, and then the date that I accessed it. The last thing we're going to look at is citing our critical articles. And again, this is a lot of that copy and pasting. So it'll be very similar to the biography, but with just two little tweaks, adding in an author and a page number for the appropriate critical article. Okay, so again, we're using that quick cite. So you're going to select that database and then reference source and then hit quick cite again. So exactly the same as you did with the biography. And then if you look in Canvas under critical articles and author bios, under the research paper module, you'll see that I've included a citation for every critical article. So it says critical citation, the chrysanthemums, and that appears for all 6 of the stories listed. And then you're going to modify the citation. So for most of the different critical articles listed, there's about 2 to 3 critics that contributed to it. So for example, for Rose Lily, there's 2 or 3 critics that wrote different articles for this, right? And we're not using all of those page numbers. So if the page numbers originally were like 166 to 182, I'm only using the pages that I read. So if I just read the article by Cynthia Bailey, just the page numbers for her there. So I'm going to have to add in, type at the very beginning of the citation, Cynthia Bailey's name that goes last, comma, first with a period. And then I'm going to come down to where it says the page number right before Gale eBooks. And I'm going to modify the page number. So again, just say the example was 166 to 182. Just say her article is just those last few pages, changing those. Once you have that, you're going to again click that blue Save button in the top right corner, and then double check your citation. Make sure it has the author's name properly formatted, last name, comma, first name, period. And then also make sure that the page numbers have been modified just to reflect what you have read. So if you've done this correctly, you should be done your works cited. You'll have 3 sources, a story, a biography, and a critical article. If you have an additional biography or an additional critical article, you would again then repeat those steps. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me about them and I will get back to you. Have a great night.